It's a brand new week on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Moriah Afolabi Brown. As always, I have my lovely co-host here. You know why I'm laughing? Why? I looked at my face and I remember that my new CEO is white and he can't understand how 1 second you don't have hair. The next one, he's like, is that your real hair? This very hair. Okay, then the other day, I'm like, what happened to the other hair? I'm like, oh,
you get used to it.
Get used to it. How you doing, Nima?
Nima does not want to talk.
Do your shout out.
I'm not greeting anybody. I went for Enemin and I went to pray at the mosque close to my friend's house, and two elderly women were having a conversation on the smuggling issue that the customs had addressed. And they're saying, this smuggling is why some people have made money. They can buy 7 million naira car, even if your own is Yahoo that Allah only fila. They were speaking in Yoruba, and even if it's Yahoo Allah only fila. Yeah, if you make it, the worst case scenario, you know is wrong. You just go and repent. So it's no longer wrong.
An elderly person.
Two elderly women were having a conversation. I expected the other one who was listening to say, no, we cannot legitimize wrong corruption. Because you know, sadly it was in the mosque. They probably had finished their prayers. There's something we call haram means and halal means, and I didn't expect the two of them not to know, because they are women and they are raising the next generation.
Even down to the religion, people just permit it.
How you doing, Jimmy?
I'm doing very well. I had a very long weekend, Thursday to Sunday. Most of it was restful. We had an incident yesterday, power bike accident. Nothing broken. He had his full gear on, all the gear, all the time. We just thank God for life. It was just a scratch here. But he's going to change the bike now and buy a bigger one.
Jesus Christ, How you doing, Topsy?
Yeah, I'm going to make it brief. Very busy weekend. I had fun. Photo shoot yesterday. Party. You left the party early. Mariah is the party person. I like not the party, but the dancing.
Mariah was just there to make business connections.
And she couldn't do it. I had fun, though. I had fun. I know you have a gist, so I'll just cut my own short. That's all. I had things to say, but I defer to your superiority.
Actually, it's important that we mentioned this. UNILAG students came to TVC on Friday to protest concerning the rustication of one of their own. And then we got in the papers and social media that they were arrested and remanded in prison for the unlawful invasion of TVs. I'm wondering, what happened? We did not arrest anybody. The students actually came to our premises. They left peacefully. They went back. We don't know who got them arrested. It's possible that UNILAG did, we're not sure. But they were remanded in Sabo prison.
Not Kiriki.
Not Kiriki. It's near UNILAG. Sabo. So, I mean, I'm like, how did
people get wrong information out there all the time?
On social media, everywhere say TVC. But wait, interestingly, when they protested, we couldn't air the story because we wanted to get UNILAG's version. That's why we held on to the story. We're waiting to see if we can interview someone in UNILAG to give us their own version. That's why we didn't break the story on Friday. But it was shocking to see on TV that way TVC arrested. Like, please don't call Bosi Walaku, I beg you. We did not arrest any students. Sorry?
Some students can be ambitious.
Yeah, it's really annoying.
Whoever broke the stories.
Premium Time actually did we posted a rejoinder, but I think another paper is yet to retract that. We need to correct that, please. TVC never arrested
actually saw it on social media.
Really?
We should be careful,
Yeah, we should be careful. We don't arrest people here. We love students. Let's take a break now. When we return, it's Monday. We have lots of stories. But first, let's look at the front pages of the newspaper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back. We're going to start with the Punch. IBB promoted indiscipline among soldiers, says Bamai. No going back on strike today, says Nupeng. Tension in Ile-Ife as policeman kills you. They've been in the news for the past 2 weeks, these Ile-Ife people.
I'm telling you.
Multi-choice hikes DSTV, GoTV subscription rates. Queen's College deaths. Parents knock education minister. Reps seek 20-year jail term for financial crimes. Nigeria's debt burden to hit 19.3 trillion by December. Southeast governors to meet federal government over Kanu's projects and others. Presidency and National Assembly APC meets Senate caucus today. That's Tuesday, tomorrow. CAN demands apology from DSS for detaining Lemon others. And police arrest 25 for illegal sale of UTME.
Okay.
Lots of stories.
We're going to discuss Queen's College today, but I needed to, just put in the public that Praise Shodipo,
Yes.
an SS1 student of Queen's College, died in the hospital on Friday.
Wow.
Other parents had tried to raise money for Praise because she was an orphan. She was in the care of a guardian. She did not have money for her hospital bills. They raised money for her hospital bills, but she still died in the hospital. And now parents of students of Queen's College are very upset at the Minister of Education, Malam Adamu Adamu, that he has not started any investigation into Queen's College's matter. He hasn't even said anything. You are in charge of this school as the Minister of Education. What are you doing?
You need someone to remind me
more
of his
about it.
brief.
Yes.
The Ife issue.
Yes.
Yes, in the reports they said the youth were protesting the arrest of some of their, what do you call them? Ethnic group colleagues. And one of them was shot and he died. But there were conflicting reports in the story because an eyewitness report said it was a Yahoo boy who had gotten 8 million and the police came to share from the loot and he gave them 100,000 and that wasn't enough for them. So it led to a shooting. And another person said it was a Yahoo boy dating a girl who supposedly broke up with him and was dating a policeman and that led to it. So I think they should just, we need a clear story around it.
Let's move on to, I was going to talk about the rep seeking 20 years, but currently it's 2 years if you are found with financial crimes. But right now they're trying, just one rep from Calabar actually, I can't remember his name, some Mr. Bassi, trying to actually push for 20 years. And I'm wondering, I hope that it doesn't get any... No,
that's important because we know as it is now that the EFCC Act is not deterrent enough.
And it's pretty lenient.
So we need a very, very, very stronger
What of cutting of arm?
That one is Sharia. That one is the Sharia. Moving on to Daily Sun. Abdusalami, IBB, Olanrewaju speak. Recession, federal government owes workers 293 billion naira salaries and allowances. Carlo to US, UK, Germany. Unmask Nigeria's treasury looters, you know now. 4-day-old Nigerian baby rescued in Mediterranean. And Biafra, South-East governors to meet Buhari over Kanu's trial and detention. Abdusalami, who has that story?
Former Chief of Defense Staff, Bamaye, wrote a book, and within 48 hours of his book being released, all the people that he mentioned that were involved in 1999 elections, from Abdusalami, IBB to Olanrewaju, were now coming with rejoinders and saying that's not exactly what happened.
IBB was saying that, listen, everybody has always known that yes, IBB played a huge role in getting Obasanjo there.
Yes.
That's no news. That was the big deal. Abdusalami, on the other hand, he was saying that he's abroad. He's back in 2 weeks, and he has gotten calls on all over. He's going to try to get the book and see and read. And I think Olanrewaju
write a book.
Everybody, they're all writing books.
Jumoke.
Interesting. Is it not interesting how all these ex-generals are just writing books and now telling us revealing secrets?
I think that when you become an elder statesman, the focus should be on letting everyone be, every child be aware of what has gone past. So they should use that position they have.
Doing that, but they're
writing books. So the books need to go through the parents to the children. The children need to know what went wrong in the past by teaching history. So they should fight for that.
Who has the correct
account
of what is going on?
We don't know who has the right account. Everybody just saying their own.
We need historians.
Obasanjo came with his own. Who else recently? There was another one. Yes, go ahead.
Why is it that Nigerian politics seems upside down? Rather than have elder statesmen as advisors, they are the ones still in power. They will now employ young people who would automatically even be assistants. When you who should have known how to advise the younger ones is the one in power, you are now employing the young ones
who cannot speak up. Should just be behind.
Yeah, the godfather. You even put him there, so he can't speak. Moving on to The Nation. Presidency insists Buhari's anti-graft battle will go on. Picture here, a stroll in the night. That's the new road that our governor commissioned, the Aburu-Abeson Link Bridge. Aboru-Abeson Link Bridge, yeah. PDP senators didn't accuse Tinubu, EFCC of conspiracy. And Olanrewaju lashes ambitious Bamaye. Right. Any stories here?
So we want to take the Aboru story
Aboru,
and congratulate
yes, go
our
ahead.
governor.
So we have
Lagos State is celebrating 50 years, May 27th, and we're seeing a lot of construction work happening. Well done, Governor
For those
Ambode.
of them doing their eyes, if you know this road,
You know
if
the
you
road?
know this road, yes. I live in Alimosho. I lived in Alimosho before I got married. If you know how bad that place was, it seemed like we didn't have a government. So
Okay.
now this is commendable. We need to applaud.
Major headline, Ojare. So the presidency is insisting that the anti-corruption, anti-graft war is going to continue regardless of what the National Assembly is doing. They seem like they're trying to jeopardize the war because the president is insisting on Magu as EFCC substantive chair, and they're saying they're not going to even, what's the word? Confirm any other appointee until the Magu issue is resolved. So we seem to be at a stalemate.
That's where I have an
Happily,
issue.
someone had gone
We cannot have the presidency, which is the head of the executive, and the legislature at loggerheads on any issue. We will move forward as a nation.
Yeah.
We have a lot of things that are dependent on both of them working together.
True.
And they
Interestingly-
must find a meeting point
True.
I
soon.
was going to link that up with the story in Vanguard, which is Customs boss Ali, Senate's rift with presidency worsens, and I'll come to that story. I have that story. Why IBB successfully toppled Buhari, says Bamai. Tanker drivers begin nationwide strike today. That's an interesting story.
I have the story.
Criticisms against Buhari's government won't stop anti-corruption war, says presidency. And dog dies fighting suicide bomber at Maiduguri wedding party.
I
read that story too, but
yes.
yeah, go ahead, Jumoke.
You want to link the Senate story
Yeah, I
with
wanted
the
to
rift,
because what's happening here was that the AGF had sent a letter to the Senate asking them to defer their the issue of Ali, saying insisting that he wears his uniform, and they're writing back to the AGF saying, listen, you cannot ask us to not to defer this issue because it's against the principles of separation of powers.
Yeah.
Because if you start doing that, it sets a wrong precedence going forward. That means that you can always be sending us
You can
letters.
venture some situation,
so
yeah.
Both of them have a
that's
good
the rift is
point.
ongoing.
And the APC as a party is coming in between the two arms to say
Yeah.
that both of you are APC. Let's resolve this internally. This issue of these dogs, so we must commend the Nigerian army for using everything that they have within
is
their
it the
power.
army's dog?
Yes.
I thought it was a neighborhood dog.
No, it was
the
the army.
neighborhood
It was a
dog.
neighborhood dog. It was a neighborhood dog that
report.
just went to go and attack
What
his
I
friend.
heard was it was Nigerian army.
No,
Oh,
what I read was
because
that. Yes, go ahead.
The dog was suspected to, be able to detect
He was
metal
sniffing.
on somebody.
no, he sniffed fear
in the
in the lady.
and attacked her
I
at
pretty
the
sure-
wedding. She
I
was
pretty sure
trying
just
to break
confirm
into
it's a
the
neighborhood
crowd.
dog. Yes, go ahead.
He was trying to break into the crowd at the wedding party, and this dog just would not let her pull through. So when he held her down in the course of struggle, she detonated the bomb.
Wow.
And the
And
dog,
she herself and the
heroic dog.
So now they said the dog has paid the supreme price.
He paid the supreme price.
paid the supreme price. Oh,
Unfortunately, Nigerians don't have the habit of selling.
I know Nigerians
Okay,
now. They start
so-
training their dog. Where I start sniffing.
Wait,
Start
Ayo.
sniffing.
Now that I found out that it was a neighborhood dog,
Yes.
Nigerian army buy dogs.
And start training them.
No, we
to
have
sniff.
dogs though. They bought dogs though. Serious. I know there was in the paper sometime. They got lots of dogs doing that. But people will now start training their dogs. But can you start sniffing bombs so that to protect
can
themselves?
protect
I
ourselves.
wanted to take another
the
story
tanker
quickly.
drivers.
That I wanted to say
Nupeng.
quickly. So Nupeng had been threatening over the weekend, which
Yes.
was why yesterday I quickly went to go and buy fuel. Now, people are saying that don't take Nupeng for granted. Nigeria will grind to a halt. What
We
are
don't take
their
them for
issues?
granted now.
Yes.
That their remuneration, and people are saying it was not federal government that was
Exactly.
paying you money before. They're talking also of bad roads.
Yes.
Some people were asking them, how does that affect you, or are you now being patriotic in fighting bad roads? But you know how their tankers can be affected.
Yes.
Some of them topple.
Yes.
Thirdly, they say that Nigerian officials on our roads, security officials, always disturb them. So rather than me having a free flow of traffic, this one is asking for 200, that one is asking for 5,000.
It's not
They're
small
always
money.
tasking them on the road. So these three issues.
And one more. They also want sleeping quarters. They complain that they don't have anywhere to sleep. They have to sleep on the tankers. That was the four. There were four of them actually. Yeah,
Anyway, so
sleeping
they're
quarters.
saying, so over the weekend, the government was trying to resolve the issue,
Right.
but they're now saying they're going ahead. So by the end of this week now, we may not have fuel.
All right.
we
Hopefully
appeal
they
to
resolve that as soon as
We are
possible.
begging them.
Let's take a quick break now. When we come back, another Queen's College student dies. We're going to focus on Queen's College today. And if you don't finish the matter, we'll transfer it to tomorrow because somebody must ask the right questions concerning this issue. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So we have not heard the last on the Queen's College health saga, as more students of the school are being hospitalized. The epidemic that broke out at Queen's College has claimed yet another life, praise Ladipo. According to a released statement, the health records from the school's sick bay indicated a total of 1,222 pupils fell ill on account of abdominal pain, fever, vomiting, and diarrhea. Joining us are some of the parents whose children are currently ill as a result of the water contamination in Queen's College. Mr. Victor Eze and Mr. Emmanuel Oka. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Thank you very much. Good morning,
viewers. You can call us on 07080668014. You can tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. Let's start with Mr. Victor. We've heard various angles from different people on this story. Tell us your own version. What state is your child in and what's going on? Tell us from you.
Well, basically, it's quite unfortunate that you have to get to this stage before things are being put in the right perspective. Okay. For me, for the past 1 month, it has been very hectic emotionally, and the trauma going through, seeing your child weighing down every second and every minute, and it was not easy. Well, to put it short, it was, as I've earlier stated, my child came back from Queen's College during their midterm break, and she was just telling me how, after taking spaghetti, how some of them started vomiting. And she told me that she was lucky, she didn't vomit, she didn't feel anything. And she was very strong. But as a father, I looked at her, I saw in her eyes that she's not as strong as she used to be. So I decided to take her to my own hospital here at Ogba. And I told the doctor that this is what is happening. I want you to just take, as a doctor, take good care of her and check her in and out to make sure that she's okay. And after that, the doctor told me she had malaria. She said malaria plus. I'm an engineer. I didn't really understand that malaria could be that stubborn. And I took her home, like, after 1 week, she started having serious high temperature. And I took her to the nearby hospital, Longin Hospital at Ijayojokoro, where after 1 week, her situation was seriously degenerating. Wow. I decided to take her to Ogba, Isalu Hospital, where she was admitted for 10 days. Wow. And, well, I cannot describe the total medication, but it was an intensive one. I mean that she took up to 16 drips with other things they put on her. And
were they finally able to diagnose exactly what it was?
They said malaria plus. But my challenge was that after all the medication, she was tested again, and the malaria plus was not reducing.
I remember we read somewhere that the bacteria, for those that didn't initially come out with being ill, what we found out that the bacteria was actually gaining ground strength inside the student.
The doctor told me that this particular bacteria is a very stubborn one. Yes. And why I had to take her away from that hospital to Lutz was that when they checked her again, they told me that it's not reducing and they don't know why.
So what's the condition today, as of today?
Well, I thank God she has stabilized.
Oh, fantastic.
So is she back home?
She's in my house. She's with me.
That's good. Okay, Mr. Emmanuel, give us your own version, sir. What's your experience like?
Well, thank you so much. It's almost the same pattern as my brother has said. My own daughter came in from school looking very, very pale and frail. And of course, if you know your daughter and you know the extent of the strength, you know, she usually exhibits or exudes. I discovered she was going down day by day. So I had no choice, because you ask her, what is wrong with you? She said, I'm okay. I said, no, you're not okay. You are my daughter. The mother was saying the same thing, because she came in from during the Christmas break. She came in, this girl was not walking erect. And then we got disturbed. What is the problem? She was hiding it. Meanwhile, the entire body had been infested with a toilet disease. We had to take up that one. The whole body, the entire body from here down was almost gone.
What?
Honestly, that was the first one. So I now decided to relay what is happening now to the first experience. So I said, I have to take you through a test. When I did a test, when it came out, it's a malaria and typhoid, 1/160. We treated for 5 days, went for a retest. This 1/160 now got to 1/320.
No difference.
Honestly, when I discussed with the doctor, he told me that it took the grace of God, the intervention of God, for somebody that had that critical situation to be alive to now. Well, thank God today she has bounced back.
My question, though, because you see, we're going to deal with the school body and the government. But as parents, you're supposed to visit your child once every month.
Yes.
When you do the visitation, is it that you don't notice anything in the environment? You don't notice that maybe they are exposed to some, like, I know some parents that the children never took water from the school, that they always buy pure water. You know, they did their own little part. But was it that you didn't notice anything while you were in the school?
Thank you so much for that question. You see, the truth about the matter is that the entire system is in a quandary. You will look at it that, this thing is okay. You say, okay, maybe because of the boarding house situation, I was a boarder during my school days, my secondary school days. You at least it's expected that a child who is busy, with, the person is not enjoying all the comforts of home, to lose a little one, considering the fact too that it's an academic environment.
Yes.
You expect a very serious-minded student to lose such weight. So that will not take you along that path. Moreover, we are talking about health. The entire system can break down anytime.
Yes.
You understand? You might see somebody today say, this person was looking very agile and strong. And the next one you said, yesterday, and the next the person is there.
Let me ask another question, sir. Did you, any one of you, complain to the school the moment you heard, you found out what happened to your daughter? Did you complain? Did you make an official?
Yeah, if I may add to what he has said, like me, I made sure that I provide bottled water for my daughter. Okay. Something I can afford. I make sure she gets it at least 2 packs per week. Yes. But there are things we cannot provide. Like my daughter, their tea, water. If you might ask me if I might not know the right word to use, but I call it green water. So there are things you don't provide. I even told her to be taking water with cold water.
My daughter,
but then my children, even the water in cooking and other water, basically there are things you cannot provide for the child.
Mr. Emmanuel,
yes, please.
Where's your daughter now? Is she back home?
She's home.
We thank God.
She's
a lot better. She has come back to her normal self.
We've heard stories about their sick bay. I don't know, because maybe mothers are probably more involved in this area, but I've not seen it, nobody here has seen it, but do you know what their sick bay looks like? Is it well equipped, their kitchen? Because we had the stories we read about it in the papers. Have you experienced any of these things, facilities? Have you gone to inspect their facilities at some point? Has anything caused you to actually go and find out more information about the state of the school?
You see, let me tell you something. In Nigeria, we treat the shaft and then leave the main. Right. You tell somebody, okay, let us carry periodic, assessment of. They don't allow you entry. No, I'm being frank with you. To the extent that, I was told the former principal gave an instruction, no child should talk to the parent, tell the parents things that don't happen, and they're blah, 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 blah.
Oh, so that's why they won't say anything is wrong, and they're actually not feeling fine.
Because some people are blaming parents. Why do you allow this situation to degenerate? Yeah. You only talk about what you know. You don't talk about what you don't know.
I'd like to ask
to put it in another angle, it had to take life of some innocent children to get things right.
That is it.
Like not allowing parents to see what is ongoing within their border and the sick bay was the former principal was trying to make sure that parents don't really have the full picture. But the present principal, because the former principal has been transferred to another school, the present principal, immediately she came in, she gave access to parents to go to their dormitory and see things for ourselves. So I think...
okay. Why Queen's College? Is there an alternative? Do you want your child to at least... Can you take your child to somewhere, another school?
Let's look at it from this angle. There are 104 unity schools in Nigeria. Yeah. Honestly, Queen's College has come to the limelight because all these things happened. I'm telling you, in some of these schools, I think
The facilities are worse.
The facilities are overstretched.
So do you think that the Minister of Education is culpable in this matter?
Well, at the moment, it's only when an investigative panel is set up, we'll be able to know who didn't do what. Because this one will tell you the grants didn't come. This one will say we paid. And we give the grant.
All right, let's take a quick break. But thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming. We appreciate you sharing your own story and now regards to your children. Right. Hope they get much better. We're going to take a break now. When we come back, we're going to bring a parent and also a former PTA chairman. She has details of vice chairman actually. She has details of what's been happening and what the status is today. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So joining us on the show to discuss extensively on the topic is the former Vice Chairman, Parents Teachers Association, Mrs. Julie Mann. Welcome to the show, madam.
Thank you.
You can call us on 070-8066-8014. You can tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. All right, so as a former vice chairman of the PTA, would like you to share with us, I mean, you're also a parent, interestingly. So could you tell us like the genesis of this problem, this issue, this epidemic, this bacterial infection? Could you give us an insight into what happened, how it started, and where we are today?
Well, I'll blame it on laxity and negligence.
Okay.
On whose part?
Yeah, on the former PTA chairman and the principal.
Okay.
In fact, I would say the last two principals of Queen's College, Mrs. E.M. Osime and Dr. Lami Amadu.
Okay.
You know, they were so negligent, like Lami Amadu, for instance, a principal of a school gallivanting all over the place, not, people come to tell her stories, she doesn't verify for herself, to see things for herself. As a principal, you know, you don't just rely on stories from your subordinates, you go and check out things for yourself. So I think all these are, you know, some of the problems that caused all this.
Well, you have a child in the school?
Yes.
What
children? SS2 and SS3.
Presently?
Yes.
So one of them must have gone through Mrs. Lami Phillips?
Yes.
Lami Amadu, sorry. So how was her relationship with the students? Did she at any point in time try to create fear in them so they don't relate what happens within the school to parents like the other parents?
Yes, of course. I know she tells the students, if any student is found to have called their parents, they'll be suspended. Yes, always threatening the children with deboarding them. Okay. In fact, she deboards them at, you know, will.
Okay, so tell us about the health facilities. Aside from the sick bay, what's the condition of the water, where they prepare their food, that's their catering, the kitchen, you know, as a parent and a former vice chairperson of PTA, what was the state of Queen's College?
Well, Queen's College, like we all know, is a brand, a good school. But it's just unfortunate that there's always been this connivance between the PTA and principals. It's not only in Queen's College, it happens in school. PTA, to my understanding, is supposed to, being a PTA school is supposed to be a position of responsibility. When people now leave their responsibilities to now start thinking of their pockets, this is what you see. As the vice chairman, I've been an arrowhead, fighting to make sure the right things are done. Like the water has been an issue. When I came on board, I discovered the industrial borehole, which was, you know, which was constructed, I think, by government in the late 70s or early 80s, had been packed up. And we needed just about less than 2 million naira to get it going, because I brought in some engineers to look at the industrial borehole. We needed less than 2 million naira to get it going. But what do you see? You see people coming to dig other boreholes, leave that one. Like the last speaker said, leaving the, you know, the main thing and going for the shaft. Digging different boreholes. Borehole that should ordinarily cost 200,000, 300,000. You see borehole, they tell you they've dug borehole, 3-point-something million, 2-point-something million, just to make money in their pocket, leaving the real thing.
So there was corruption involved?
Yes.
Now, I want to ask you a question, ma'am. Before this escalated, you apparently have been making some move. Did you, for any reason, when you noticed that you were not getting the right response from the school body, take it to the Ministry of Education, because they have an oversight duty to ensure the environment is conducive? Did you take it further?
Yes, like I did plenty of write-ups. The ministry has a website, so all my write-ups are always on the ministry's website. Okay. Besides, there was a petition that was sent to the minister. I am sure it never saw the light of day. I mean, in Queen's College, there's a big cabal. Government needs to come into Queen's College to sanitize the place. But thank God we have a new principal now. I think she's what Queen's College has been waiting for all these years.
Okay. Talking about cabal and corruption, I want to quote two parents quoted in the Punch newspaper this morning. They said, "We believe corruption is involved. If investigations start, a lot of questions will be raised about finances. If the former principal is questioned, heads will roll. We believe that was why she was quickly transferred to another school." Another parent who claimed to have spent a lot of money on his daughter said, "The school's financial system might have been compromised." Do you agree?
I totally agree with that. I'll tell you this because I know government sends a lot of subvention to the school, even higher than schools like King's College, and yet parents are made to pay levies like 3,500 as maintenance. Even with the 3,500, what are they maintaining that they cannot even resuscitate a borehole for 2 million naira?
So I want to ask another question. Based on people clamoring that the former principal has been given a light, like she should face more questioning. She should just be transferred. She should be prosecuted for what happened. We've lost 3 lives based on
4 lives.
4 lives.
Okay.
Based on some mismanagement of the school facility under her watch. So why is she being moved to another school where maybe something like this might even happen? Why is she not brought to book? What's your take, and how are you galvanizing to get her to face prosecution on one thing or the other?
I think government needs to come in, call her for questioning, set up a panel if possible, and I believe helps will roll.
I wanted to ask, to address the points in the Punch that you just, agree with. Did the principal truly have a business where she sold water within the school? And if she did, as a PTA former vice president, did the PTA do anything, to stop her? Did they, have any issues with her running that business within the school?
I'll just quickly say something. I don't think the last principal, Dr. Lami Amadu, had anything to do with the water. It was the other principal, Mrs. E.M. Osime. That's why I've said the last 2 principals needs to be called for questioning, because there were too many corruptions during their tenure.
Okay, let me take this call from Faith. Faith, calling from Ikeja. Are you there?
Yes, good morning.
Morning, thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Yes, please, I'm a parent of
Queen's College.
Queen's College.
Right.
And I totally agree with Didier, because a lot of things have happened. In fact, the last principal that left, there were cases of embezzlement that we were trying to open up, and suddenly we heard she left and all that. And then there was also a case when these kids came on midterm break. We were told that we should disregard, we were sent text messages that we should disregard any message or any news we hear about an epidemic or an outbreak. They assured us that everything was okay. It was much later, I think, with parents' insistence that we got to know there was truly an epidemic. I don't understand the covering up of things. If something is bad, you call parents and maybe we put our heads together and try to resolve this, than hide it, and parents lack the knowledge of what's really going on and lose children. I'm so pained. I've lost a child. I know what it takes. And so I'm so, in fact, I'm in tears knowing that a child died again. So please, I don't know, but if there's anything that can be done to reduce this or even take it out totally, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Faith. Please. Let's come to the issue that I think Tokwe raised concerning the Ministry of Education. As a former PTA vice chairman, what influence have you been able to galvanize to call the Minister of Education? For whatever reason, we've not heard from him. He's not said a word as Malam Adam. He hasn't said a word on this matter. Now, is there any way, because when something happens, we see women all come together protesting. In this situation, it seems like all the parents are not together. We're just hearing different from only one or two here.
I agree. A parent called me and said, Jumoke, they want to politicize this thing.
Yes.
They should open the school. So, come and look at it. The school is clean.
It's like we're not speaking with one voice.
Because the person's child is not affected.
It's almost as if all the parents are not speaking on one voice. It's like if we all came together, come together and then protest and say, you know what, we demand that the Minister of Education say something else matter. What's going on in that regard?
That's why a PTA will be formed in the first instance.
Okay, let me tell you something quickly. Do you know, for all the talks and fighting and being against the corruption and all the negative things going on there, they sent assassins after me. Yes, I even had to write to the police, you know, for them to come in. This was a letter I sent to the police. They were after me, even sent DSS using their connections. Yes, after me. DSS here, 3 different offices.
On this matter?
Yes, because I've been saying what they are doing, you know, they've been doing the wrong thing. But however, now I will tell you the work in school from the efforts of the current PTA executive and the new principal, work is commendable and things are progressing.
Right. Let me pause and take this call from John. Are you still there? John, are you still there? We can, okay. See, let me let someone go in.
I want to ask this question because he mentioned that we have over 100 unity schools.
104.
104. And this might be the situation in other schools. Maybe we're hearing about this because sadly there was loss of life. What can you as a parent, using this platform, tell to other parents whose children are in such schools that they're not allowing them to see what is going on in the sick bay, so that they can probably, what can they do? What can the parents, yes, avoid getting this bad? What can you advise parents to do right now?
My advice to parents is they should try to support the school. They should try as much as they can to support the school.
How, financially?
Not financially. They see things that are needed in the school. Like there are some parents that are doctors that can be of help in a sick bay. There are some parents that own water factories. They see problems like this, can decide to provide water for the school. They should try.
Wait, we have to go on a break, but let me let Nima jump in here because we have Mrs. Leila Matthew Daniels also on the phone to speak to her. But let me let you
I wanted to, you know, to indict the PTA in a way because I have first-hand information that you had certain amounts of funds with the PTA over 50 million. And this situation in the school had started before this principal. Did the PTA not think at that point to do something concrete?
The 2 million naira you were talking about?
The 2 million you were talking about.
But I was just telling you that it's been corruption all the way.
Wow.
Between the PTA
and PTA is corrupt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Within the PTA.
But we need to take a quick break because as much as many parents would like to sweep it on the campus and say, oh, things are going on well, back to normal, we don't choose to make it go back to normal because 4 young girls have died. So the public are not ready to just turn our other place. Oh, it's gone back to normal. We don't want to hear that. So somebody must pay for these 4 children that have passed on. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. I think we have the former Old Girls of Queen's College chairman, Mrs. Leila St. Matthew Daniels. Is she on the phone? Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Well, fine, thank you.
Good. Thanks for joining us. Now, as I said, we've been having this conversation for a while. We just want you to give us an update on what's going on, or give us a little bit of an insight into what's happened and where we are today.
Well, the whole thing is very sad, not to say the least. Okay. And it's even sadder because we had listed, when we did the fact-finding last year concerning the whole alleged harassment issue, one very important thing that we kept saying was that going into the compound brought out series of other things that was unconnected with even the fact-finding. And one was the fact that the living accommodation of the girls was diabolical. And if nothing was done about it, there would be a fatal incident if they are not, if they don't do anything about it. But for whatever reason, they put that one aside. There were series of it. The sewage that had broken loose next to the kitchen, next to the dormitories. You understand? It was foul smelling. The unhygienic way we saw the cooks preparing the food out there as if it was a buka. You understand? Even from bukas, they're better. The living conditions, the way they were packed together like sardines in the dormitories, and it just takes one person to have an issue, there will be an epidemic. The sewage overflow, we wrote all those things down, and we said above the alleged harassment, there is a very serious issue happening, and for a college that has accommodation for 1,000 something students, they had over 3,000 in the living accommodation.
All right, let me pause you for a second, Leila. Let me pause you for a second. Yes, Jumoke.
Okay, so Leila, all your findings, you went to look to make an assessment over something else. You found all of this. Terrible living conditions. What did you do? Who did you address your report to? The federal government set up a panel last year. We haven't heard anything about it. Where is the Minister of Education and Minister of Health on this matter? And you as an old girl, what are you doing?
All right. Listen to me. I was about to say that we not only wrote the report, it was given to all sectors of the stakeholders, the minister, the Minister of Health, the Lagos State Attorney General, the Lagos State Health Situation. If you can remember, they now convened a committee with our report, a committee to look into, supposedly, to look into all these things, all these, but all they did was to address the harassment issue, and they kept quiet about the other one. And what happened next? They started attacking the old girls that we were witch hunting, we were doing this, we were doing that, and we said that, why are they not looking at the other side? What do you want us to do? What did you want the old girls to do? There is a limit to what one can do in this kind of society.
We have very little time, Leila. Let me just throw in another quick question before we move to our guest. Our guest had told us now that things have gone back to normal. Like, you know, as of today, the new principal is there, things are changing.
Things are progressing.
Do you agree that things have gone back to normal, or what do you stand to do right now? Because we as non-quick QC girls, we're like, you can't just move on after 4 children have died.
The old QC girls they've been meeting to see what they can do, and even those who are not from QC, because it affects children, and so they're all meeting. They want to see what they can do over and above the non-performance. Right now, everything seems to want to go back to normal, and I hear that some QC old girls are trying to surcharge themselves to have money to try to do things within the complex.
Lack of money.
And we are saying no. That cannot be, because you see, I'm not just an old girl. I have a special interest in children and women, and the rights of people to be in.
Thank you very much, Leila. Thank you so much. Let me come back to our guest. Yes.
Okay.
You've heard what Leila. She's an old girls chairman, former chairman, and everybody's highly passionate about this situation. No mother will hear this and want to sweep it under the carpet, because we need to know where we're taking this forward. Yes, things have gone back to normal, but what are the measures that you're going to take to ensure this doesn't happen again, and also ensure that Lami Amadu is prosecuted?
Not only her, the other principal.
And the other principal, Osimhen. Our question on this issue.
Well, it's like I said, it's very unfortunate that this had to happen for all this to come out, because this is something we've been talking about. Like Leila said, it was part of their report as well, but they never looked at it. Lami Amadu felt she was so connected. You said anything to the principal, it's swept under the carpet. This is not even the first time this kind of a thing is happening in Queen's College. It happened sometime last year, early last year, and it was swept under the carpet with all the talking, and it became, you know, harassment, you know. I think with the new principal, things are definitely going to go to because now, you know why I'm saying it? Unlike Lami Amadu, who just sits down and, you know, people come give report. This woman, I've seen her, she walks everywhere has
that's the new principle. What Morai
as a nation,
what Morai is trying to ask is that the consequence of what has happened. What is going to happen to Lami Amodu? Are you writing a petition to the Ministry of Justice, or is there's supposed to be a legal action against this?
Well, them even have the audacity to make her be a principal of another school.
We should not be.
Audacity.
It shouldn't be.
By transferring her is an insult to the children that have died.
Yes.
Let me let you take some tweets, Jumoke.
Ortega says, this is very insulting and disappointing. This is the reason everything in Nigerian government never works. They are only for themselves. Shameful. Omotaya says, I'm in support of Jumoke. The Minister of Education and Health are culpable in this matter. Bolaji says, cabal here and there. Maybe we should just change Nigeria's name to Cabaleria. Hope says, the school should be sued for negligence. No human being should die because of a treatable condition like diarrhea and vomiting. Olokode says, can you see how far corruption had gone, killing innocent children just like that? Someone must be arrested and must be prosecuted. Oladipupo says, we are in a failed system. Our focus should not just be on the government, but every individual person in the society.
Morayo, we have people watching our show. We have committees set up every day. They bring up reports every day, and nothing is being done about it. The report done by Leila St. Martin and their team of old school students could have saved us 4 lives. Yes. Let every government official that has opportunity to do their job actually do their job and prevent.
And finally, I want to say that we need government fast intervention, urgent intervention into all this, so that such thing does not reoccur or happen again. And we want an investigative panel into the children's death, so that those found guilty, like Lami Amodu and the former PTA chairman, and even the other principal, Mr. Sime, will be brought to book. There's still a lot to talk about. Like you said, this is there's not much time, because there are so many things. The insurance money that was collected twice in a year instead of once in a year by a principal, and the children that have died, nothing to show from the insurance company. All we hear is that not all the money got to them and all that. So there are a lot of things to still talk about. Government needs to come into this matter urgently.
We're going to round this up today, but I can promise you that this is not the end of this conversation. We are, as Jumoke said, we are demanding to speak to the Minister of Education. What's his name again?
Adamu.
The Minister of Health,
Isaac Adewale,
on this matter. We need to speak to them. We need to demand to speak to them. We need to hear their views on this matter, number one. Number two, we need to ensure that Dr. Lami Amodu and Dr. Osime, Mrs. Osime,
and Mrs. Aketwame,
all of them should be called and prosecuted, because these 4 innocent children cannot die in vain.
Shouldn't have died.
Shouldn't have died. So we can't just, by transferring her, what you're doing, to slap it to the parents, say, you know what, you don't care. And
also,
that cannot.
Whoever is in charge of researching this kind of diseases and viruses that have come up should please start to research. We don't need to lose more lives before we start.
That's what we can take. Have a lovely day. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.